Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World Warships. Today's replay is from CallMeAkatsuki, and I'm terribly sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Now he is in the Stalingrad, a tier 10 Russian cruiser. He is on the map Warriors Path in a 3-point domination game. So obviously a tier 10 battle, a few poor tier 8s mixed in, and well, there is a tier 8 carrier. And even better, we have a Moskva that's sailing broadside. That might be a spanking. Well, 2 citadels. What a lovely start. Now he is approaching here to a pretty decent position here next to the sea cap. It's a very lovely spot for cruisers, like raider cruisers. He's basically in range to raider this whole cap and well, even a bit more than that. And he is close enough to provide some nice fire support for his destroyer if it's needed. So... and he even gets to shoot some broadside cruisers, it looks like. 4 overpens in the citadel. So it looks like the enemy destroyers have no interest in the sea cap while an enemy is taking B, and we don't know where the other enemy destroyer is. Might be on its way to A. I mean, the friendly destroyer hasn't arrived there either. Or it's possible that he is just somewhere in the vicinity and afraid of actually entering C. Might be the... oh yeah, he's actually trying to flank. Now, very poor choice on the shimakaze if you ask me. So, for what's like... the Stalingrad has 12-kilometer radars, so he's not radar safe in his approach. There is also a carrier. If the carrier finds him when he is overextending so much, it's also a problem. And I mean, he doesn't take the cap. So basically, if he had tried to sail into the sea cap, he would have been a lot safer and probably a lot more productive. And now he just took a lot of damage without really doing well. I mean, he got his torps off here. Maybe he can do something against the Yamagi. But you know, good for the friendlies if the enemy shimakaze is willing to just not be that productive. Now, we know where the shimakaze is, so the carrier is already on its way. So once, like the shimakaze is right now hiding in smoke, once he leaves, the carrier can get him. And if he doesn't leave, then the set might just catch up and hydro him. And there really isn't any help coming, because he is too far away from his team. I mean, potentially the enemy battleships are going to push in here. We will see. Maybe they'll try a desperate move to rescue the shimakaze, but it's probably going to be too late, right? Also, it doesn't look like the enemy is actually pushing. Now, the friendlies control A, the friendly force there is pushing forward, so that's lovely. The enemies have B, but not really an issue. And there is the Shima again, so Shima tries to escape her smoke, but you know the carrier was waiting. Or Stalingrad here is reloading high explosive. And ooh, well, might have been good if the carrier just kept spotting there. Our carrier is coming back. And there is some more spotting. Now, unfortunately, there aren't that many friendly ships actually to use that spotting, because there's just the Kremlin and the Tsar, and they are a little bit too far behind, and the set probably doesn't want to expose herself. And now we have a bigger problem than the shimakaze, and that's the Kurfürst pushing in. So while the Shima is spotted again, Akatsuki has decided that, well, self-defense is much more important right now. Although with the Kurfürst, I think I would have shot the Shima there. But I mean, it's a broadside Moskva, it's hard to pass up any broadside. You have armor piercing loaded. So the enemy Shima actually got away with a push there. Mostly I feel like because the friendlies have decided to retreat so heavily there. I think they weren't really in a position to hunt down the Shima. Now the friendly set is wisely staying back, like Kurfürst means 6-kilometer hydro. Now he's isn't hydroing right now it looks like, but the set doesn't know that. So the set is doing their best to not get wrecked by a battleship hydro. And well, it looks like our Stalingrad has to brawl this Kurfürst on her own, cause seem to be much help there. Thankfully, the Kurfürst decides to go full broadside, although I imagine maybe he is doing that to dodge torps. But regardless the reasons, he is broadside, and that's just like just means upper belt penetrations all day long. And while they don't hurt as much as a Citadel, they do quite rapidly deplete the Screwfist's health. Now for a moment I thought he was trying to angle here again, but it looks like he has decided that no, he'd much rather get spanked some more. I mean, the thing is, like, you know, angling a little bit more here wouldn't put him in a crossfire of the Kremlin too much, so... Well, this worked a lot better than expected. Also, the Vladivostok that pushed with the Kurfürst decided, nope, he will have none of that, and he just bailed out and left his teammates there to die. So, enemy Shima might actually be able to flip that cap at this point, which is a bit unfortunate, but maybe friendlies can catch that Shima. Now Akatsuki has to be careful, you definitely don't want to eat 15 torps here, and if he pushes in and like turns away or something, then the Moskva will just abuse his. So he has to remain angled against the Moskva while also not exposing himself to Shima torps. And that's a bit tricky. So he has decided, you know what? Let's not commit overly much, so he is reversing a little bit. He's staying safe from the Shima, and I guess he hopes that somebody else can shoot that Shima. It's just not really... Well, I guess this... No, that's probably the set that's shooting there. Like, we would hope that at least the Sao got a few shares in, but doesn't look like it. Now the carrier is there to... Well, I mean, he has torpedo bombers. He's trying to at least keep the Shima spotted, but nobody can really use that. Meanwhile, on the other flank, the friendlies are just cleaning up, so that's good. Now, while the enemy team has a cap advantage, it's looking very good for the friendly team, so they have the time, they can't just play this carefully here. Although I would like to see that Kremlin be a bit more aggressive against those cruisers. I mean, yeah, be wary of the Shima, but still, like, that Kremlin could do a lot more to, I guess, push the enemy cruisers there. But you know, Kremlin is moving forward now, so at least there is that. Now Akatsuki currently has armor piercing loaded, and look at that, the Moskva was like, alright, I'll go broadside, I know you really wanted to get citadels on something, there you go. That one citadels, but you know, I mean, at least the Moskva tried. And oh, rear secondary is going off there, because a Shima has found its way towards his back. Now I might have just decided to turn my guns towards this Shima right now. He's moving forward to obviously avoid any torps, but still, I think I would have prioritized the Shima. On the other hand, I mean, the carrier is potentially going to deal with this, so I guess he's trusting his carrier to deal with this problem while he's focusing where his guns are actually pointed. And goes in here to deal with the Moskva. And look at that. That's not very well angled, let's put it like this. So Moskva is down. Now we do have an Alaska here. The Shima has been taken out, so that worked marvelously, I suppose. The friendly set seems to be on the way to camp the center, and well, I mean, we don't know how healthy the ships on the other flank are, but it's unlikely at this point that the enemy makes a comeback. Let's just be honest about this. So let's see what we can do to a little Alaska there. Alaska seems content to show quite a bit of broadside there. And is he... Oh, he's finally going to angle. I mean, considering how this game is going, a ram would be perfectly acceptable here. But then again, why ram if you can just go in Citadel, right? Turrets are turned, and there you go. Three lovely citadels and Fonless Alaska. So he could just stay here and cap, or he can sail towards the last remaining enemies. I personally might have just stayed here and cap. Capping does also give quite a bit of experience, so there is that. And I mean, the carrier seems to be in that area somewhere, but there is no guarantee that they're going to find it before this is over. And again, the lion is almost in range, so at least he can shoot that lion. But this battle is pretty much over, and it's almost to 200,000 damage right now. And 3 kills. I mean, technically he could still get a Kraken, he just needs to sink the last 2 remaining enemies. And I mean, that lion is getting low, so there is definitely a chance for that. Then he'd have to find the carrier. And look at that, there's a carrier. I probably would have gone high explosive against that lion there. But you know, the armor piercing might come in handy because it's a broadside carrier. And isn't that like a nice treat in the end? Just a defenseless carrier, fully broadside, trying to sail away, and you get to Citadel the crap out of it. There is a Confederate. Planes are coming in, but I don't think those dive bombers will be enough to sink the Stalingrad. There you go, there is a high caliber. The planes are all down, and just make a nice firework to celebrate the victory. Here we are with the results. CallMeAkatsuki earned himself 2,822 base experience, and pretty lovely done. He basically spent his whole time fighting for a cap, and well, he kind of lost the role of the raider, the support, the battleship, and yeah, he had to do a lot of work himself. Also achieved an AA defensive expert, I think it's called, a Confederate, the Dreadnought, a high caliber, scoring 253,000 points of damage. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.